Hello, welcome everybody to Living Your Purpose. My name is Danielle K. Anderson. I am an entrepreneur, interfaith minister, Toastmaster, etc., including a spiritual counselor and life coach. Today, our topic is time management, and my co hosts are.
SJ from Inner Soul Development. What I am is a personal life coach and transformational speaker. What I do is I help you get you off your course and take you to your greatness. So I'm here to find the puzzle to your life and make everything brand new. And on top of me, I have.
My name is Jamila Corbett. I'm an entrepreneur and brand strategist, and I help you authentically communicate your message and your value to the rest of the world. And you can hit me directly on Twitter at Jamila Corbett, JamilahCorbett, and also on Periscope, same name.
Okay. So the topic today is time management. However, we're going to flip it a little bit. When I say time management, I mean wasting time, okay, and how you can stop wasting your time. Now, the reason why I had this, I actually did a scope about it, and the reason why is because I had a client that told me that there was no time in her schedule for her to do what she wanted to do. Her schedule was tight, and she was stressed, she was overwhelmed, she was frustrated, she was angry. And so I had to find out exactly why she had such a not enough time for her to actually meditate or, just get into herself. And I come to find out with a lot of people this happens. A lot of people are taking on other people's problems and issues, okay? That's number one. They focus on things that doesn't matter, okay? They major in minor things, okay? So a lot of them also, they get into stuff that have no real purpose in their life. And they've been doing that for a very long time. They also get into things that doesn't fulfill their outcome in life. Okay. Now, they do it because maybe they're doing it for a friend. Maybe they don't want to hurt the person's feelings. Maybe they've been doing it for so long and they have no idea how to get out of not doing what they're doing. And it stresses them out and it overwhelms them. So what I did was, I got something from, can you hear me?
Yep.
I got something from
Tony
Robinson. You can hear me, Jamila?
Yes. Am I still? I can't. I don't know if I'm still on the screen or not. Though.
So what I did was I did an exercise. Okay. It's actually from one of my clients. I did an exercise that I got from Tony Robbins. And there was 2 questions that I told her that I wanted her to sit down and really be honest with herself, okay? And these are the 2 questions that I asked her. I asked her, what is something that you tend to focus on that doesn't serve you? What is it that you focus on that really doesn't serve you? And the second question is, what is it that you do on a regular basis that you really don't have to do? And so when she was able to write it down and really be honest with herself, she realized that she had so much time because everything that she was doing was for other people and not herself. So that's why I did this thing about time management, because there's a lot of people that are doing exactly the same thing, taking on other people's problems and issues for years, and they don't know how to get out. So that's the reason why I had this scope, because that's an exercise that's going to actually help free you from the chain of other people's issues that we take on. Okay? We may take it on because of love, because we love that person, or that person can't do it for herself, or that person can't do it for himself. So you took it on, but it stresses you, overwhelms you, frustrates you. So why would you put yourself in that situation? But we do it as humans. We do that. So that's why I had this topic.
Fantastic. Jamila, you have something?
Yeah, that's interesting. I did a Periscope about this maybe a month ago on time, and not necessarily time management, but more so in business. How do I determine whether something is or isn't worth my time? And the way I do is I treat time as an investment, right? So my time should yield some type of return. If I'm going to participate in an activity, what is this activity going to yield? Is it going to fulfill me? Is it going to get me more money? What is this what am I doing? How am I investing my time? And so when I assess, like if someone says, hey, can I pick your brain? Well, about that, what is picking my brain? What type of investment is that going to be? How is this going to yield a return? And so I think we should all treat time as an investment, whether it's, helping someone else out or helping ourselves. What is our time going to yield?
I agree.
Interesting. Interesting. The way see, let's say you threw me a curveball when you said you're going to talk about wasting time. Because what I was going to do, well, I think managing your time is important, because you do have to think about the things that are necessary to do, the things that you would like to do, and the things that you could go without doing. And the way I do it is to, we all should be doing this, writing down our goals and all of that. And what I do, I have 3 different books. Okay. I have my calendar that I write in on paper with a pen every day. My calendar stays full. Then I have my to-do list of stuff that I have to do during a day. And then I have my idea stuff, like today. This is my show notes for today. Okay. So for every task, I have a list and something to take notes on and all of that type of stuff. And I think really it's just important to know what it is that is necessary, prioritizing your time. And you can do things for other people. You can have fun and do silly things that are worth nothing except enjoyment. But you just have to make sure that it is prioritized. So fun time and silly time can be prioritized. In fact, I think since we talked about it last week, it's definitely necessary. But organizing yourself to a point where there's not really any question about what's next. And if there is something that comes up, it's easy to move it around. So scheduling for me has been incredibly important in managing time, and it helps me to not waste as much time if I organize myself in such a way that if I have time to waste, I can, and it's not,
Right. Exactly.
unproductive.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. And I also agree with Jamila, because you gotta understand your time is valuable. Okay. First of all, if anybody was to say to you, let me get 5 minutes of your time. Now that 5 minutes means the knowledge, you can always get back, but that 5 minutes you can't. Okay. That's 5 minutes that you can never get back. But the whole thing is living your purpose. Okay. We want you to take time for yourself. And people are so oppressed and they're so frustrated and they're so upset because they are dealing with other people's issues. I don't understand. They take it on. And what's so funny is that they really don't have to. There's no commitment, there's no obligation. But see, they don't know how to free themselves from doing other things. And like I said before, you have to be able to take time for yourself. Okay. Your calendar shouldn't be that tight. When I went down and I was speaking to her, after we did the exercise, I realized that she was doing everything for everybody else. Everything for everybody else. And it was sad because she couldn't tell the person no. No is peace. I believe no is peace. It's not negative. No is your peace. No is saying that I'm taking time for myself. No is saying that I don't want to do or take on that burden. Okay. So, you really got to be able to see exactly where your time is being spent. And in order for you to live your purpose and find your joy, you got to get rid of all that dead skin. Okay. And really realize that this is where I want to start. And I need to be able to free the chains, so to speak, of everybody else's issues. You understand? So it's not wasting time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's very. I think that's very important, because half the people that are stressed out and looking like they want to kill somebody is because they're dealing with other people's issues that they really don't have to deal with.
Agreed. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all again for joining us, especially those who have just come in. If you haven't already, do us a favor
Right.
and tell a little bird. Share this with everyone that you know. Invite people. It's a cool trick. You can just tag them in the comments, and it'll send them a notification. They might come in. We have what's called the Love Seat. It is now open. and anyone is welcome to come on, have a seat, enjoy, share your thoughts with us on this topic, or if you have questions, you're welcome to do that as well. See, yep, just like that, Vanessa. Thank you so much. And I know that we're in competition right now with a bigger name, Blabber right now. So, it might be tricky to get folks in here, but those of you who are in here, please feel free to join us. This is a conversation. It's
Right,
not just a
exactly.
presentation.
And we want everybody to, give your feedback, give your feedback regarding, how do you take time for yourself? What do you do? People are scared to say no. I never understood that. People are very scared to say no to an individual. I had to learn that. I used to say yes to everything because I didn't want to hear nobody's problems, or I didn't want to hear nobody's I don't know, sad story. I could say I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. So I used to be that yes person.
Right.
I could say I used to be the yes person. Oh, they asked me to go down the block, around the corner to McDonald's and come back, and I'm still hungry. I do that. Okay. You need a couple of bucks, and I know I
Mm.
ain't got no money. Just so I won't hear any type of backlash or why you ain't do it. Or I used to be that yes person until I realized later on in life that no is just as good as a yes.
The thing about the word no is it may not feel good, but it won't physically hurt you. If I say no to somebody, you're not going to just start bleeding, from the jugular, okay? It just means no. That's the worst anybody could tell you in life is no, and then you still don't die, unless it's, can I get this medicine so I can breathe today? And somebody says no, then maybe. But other than that, no is just no. Time, a friend of mine, she says, time is just a social agreement, which I find interesting. Meaning the time that you spend on yourself is what's most important, and everything else in the world um, can happen, for you, but you have to make sure that your time is spent wisely on
Yeah.
yourself
That's how you
first.
can find that's how you find your purpose. That's how you find your joy. I mean, you can't find joy by having wearing other people's glasses. It doesn't work that way. And
I like that analogy.
huh?
Hmm.
I,
Wearing other people's
I like that
glasses.
analogy of wearing other people's glasses. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
But like I said, it starts in business. It's also in business. I mean, how do you start a business, or even try to or even try to do things on your own when you got two or three people on your leg while you're walking? It doesn't. You have to be able to free yourself. You have to be able to free yourself and get in tune with yourself. That's why it's time management. Your time. Yeah, your time. Not everybody else's time. Your time.
Right. And it's not, and we're not by any means saying
Yes.
that you can't do for other people and you can't take time out to help others and to do things for folks, because it is good to do that. People need help, and if you can do it, then by all means do it, but not at the expense of hurting yourself in some way. I mean, sacrifice sometimes is necessary. If I have to put off a bill for another week because I know a friend of mine is hungry, then I'm going to do that. That's fine because I know where my next check is coming from. But I don't know what their situation might be. And they have kids. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to sacrifice a little bit. It's okay to give of your time as long as you know that it's not hurting you, because those good deeds, they will pay off in the end. But as long as your time is prioritized for the betterment of yourself and those around you, then the sky is not even the limit anymore. There's no limit to what it is that you can
And
do uh, when you
and
have
how you
managed it
can
properly.
tell, just so you understand, how you can tell whether or not this is something that's good, because I mean, it's all good to help a person out, understandably. I'm not saying you can't help. Yeah, help. You need to, because you're going to get blessed at the end. But how you can tell when it's really warping on you is what you feel inside. If you feel like, oh my God, like if you feel like it you feel agitated, or you feel like, I just can't do this again. I don't want to do this again. Or you may tell a friend like, yo, can you tell your friend, like, I can do this only one more time? No, no. If you got to go that route, okay, you got to be strong and courage within yourself to just say no. Okay, just say no. Just say no. And what that does is that person will respect you more, and you will respect that person more, because that person is understanding that you're keeping it 100 with them, or you're keeping it real with them. Keep it real with people. Keep it real with people, keep it real with people. Okay. So Jamila, let me ask you. When it comes to your business, all right, and you know, how do you draw the line between help and advantage, or or saying no and saying yes? Like, how do you manage your own time as far as your personal time?
Yeah. So I did touch on that earlier. What I do is I assess what is this activity going to yield. So as far as other people, am I going to feel fulfilled by doing this activity? Is this activity going to help someone? It's like I have to assess the bandwidth, my own bandwidth, as far as my time and how much allotted time I'm able to dole out to other people. There is a set amount, you know what I mean? Because every day there's always, it's about balance, right? So every day there's 3 things that I have to do every day, something that caters to the mind, the body, and the spirit. So within that whole, within that, I guess that framework, the way I divvy out my time is something that caters to those 3. So as far as the mind, am I going to learn something? As far as the body, am I going to exercise? And as far as the spirit, am I going to bless someone else? How am I going to bless someone else? So the way I manage my time and saying yes and no is, what is this activity going to yield, and how does this fit in the overall framework of my day, my week, my month, or my year?
That's good. So you kind of have
Fantastic.
you kind of have a balance. It's like you kind of have, like, this is what it is. This is what it is.
Yeah, and it has to be. And it has to, because you can't give too much of yourself, because if you give too much energy of yourself, then you're not going to have any for your own self to do, to have fulfillment in your own life. It's like you have to draw that balance between how much is too much and how much is too little. Do I have enough of myself to even give? So in order for me, I know, because I'm an introvert, so in order for me to give, I have to recharge my own batteries, and I have to give myself my own time to relax and do whatever I want to do, take my mind off stuff, and then I'm able to give my energy to other people, because now I have my batteries are recharged and I can give 100% to others. But it's a balance between yourself and other people, and you have to figure that out for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us and sticking with us. Oh my gosh, I was just about to call him in the seat and he left. Shame. But yes, the love seat is open, and we welcome you at any time. If you have any feedback or questions
He's back
on
in
the
there.
topic.
Get back in.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we are talking about time management. So again, if you have any ideas, input, questions, please do. Morgan, you're not getting away from me that easy. Jump in this seat for me, please, darling.
So that's good. So now that we know what would be a waste of time, or like Jamila, she's very restricted as far as, she's very restricted as far as what is and how is and what time she gives and allows to people. What really works is you need to get rid of stuff that doesn't serve you. At the end of the day, it has to serve you. It has to serve you. If it doesn't serve you, then you're going to walk through life not fulfilled. And the whole purpose of this whole broadcast is how you can live your purpose. But you got to live. That's the point. Live your purpose. So now you got to just get rid of stuff that doesn't serve you, and actually write down. If you actually write down what it is you give of yourself, if you write it down, which I'm an avid advocate for writing stuff down. Write down what it is that you're actually giving of yourself. And if there's nothing that says you, then you need to do some spring cleaning, honey. You need to do some spring, winter, summer, fall cleaning. Okay, and that's very important.
Right. That is important. You have to prioritize yourself while you're working on your time. And I don't know if we can stress that enough, really, because when you're living your purpose, you have to consider what it is that you want to do for yourself. And even if it sounds selfish, at face value, but the more you're able to do for yourself, the more you're able to give to others. And that's what the purpose of living for me really is to be able to give to others. And how can you do that if you don't give time, if you don't
Yep.
give yourself time, and you don't prioritize time for yourself? How can you possibly, like Jamila said, recharge and have enough energy to be able to give to others
Right.
and to yourself? Does that make sense to everybody? Are there
Yeah.
any questions? I'm going to offer this one more time. If you are willing, we have one seat open. That is what we call the love seat. Please feel free to join and offer any input or questions you may have about
Right.
managing your time.
And right.
It's 6:39 right now.
There
Just
he
time
is.
check.
Thank you.
Brian.
I was
Welcome.
There
hesitating to
he
come
is.
online because I'm like
There
laying in
he
my
is.
bed.
It's okay.
Hi,
Welcome,
Brian.
welcome, Brian, to Living Your Purpose. Thank you so much for joining us in the love seat.
Right.
My
So
question is,
Mhm.
a lot of. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about having balance in life, have balance between your work and your job and recreation and family and that kind of thing. And I was looking at your profiles and you seem like all three of you are like entrepreneurs, like you're doing your own business, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
So that's the same. It's the same as me. I have my own business, and it's a lot easier to have balance in life if you have a regular 9 to 5. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're following contracts, jobs. You don't have this natural kind of order of things where you work a 9 to 5 and your job's over. So how do you balance you have these big opportunities come by and it's taking all of your time? And so how do you figure out time management when you have a lot of good things? Like in my life right now, I have a whole lot of great opportunities. I've just started working with NIH. There's a big contract downtown I'm working with, the Blues and Jazz Club. It takes way too much of my time. And so I'm trying to balance, between all these good things, lots of opportunities. But as an entrepreneur, you really can't control it. You try to bring in more business and work, but it's like trying to say no to which good thing do I say no to in order to have more. So I'm wondering what each of your perspectives are on how to, as an entrepreneur, when you have all these competing, positive things, you're like, how do you balance that? How do you time management in your life from that perspective?
You want to take that, Jamila? What?
Yeah. When you figure that answer, you let me know.
Oh.
Even though balance is something that I'm still working on, it's a continuous journey of me trying to balance, different parts of my life. And I don't have any kids or any family or, that whole dynamic yet. And I'm still trying to find balance. So what I do is I do prioritize, like we were touching on earlier, I do prioritize the activities. And when I first started my business, that was my biggest issue. And that's why my first business failed, is because I couldn't mismanage my time. I didn't create processes and procedures. So the second time around, when I created the business that I'm in now, I learned from my mistakes before, and now I'm able to have, processes, procedures, so I can plug and play. So now I can get back more of my time and have that balance. So what I do is I try to figure out, what am I good at? What needs to be outsourced? What can someone else do? And I take a lot of stuff off my plate that's not immediately that doesn't immediately serve me, or that I can give away without hurting my business. And that's how I'm able to manage my time a little better, is just get the big stuff off my plate, do the hard stuff first, and then worry about how I'm going to divide my time amongst my family and friends and all that later.
That's a really good point, Jamila. Outsourcing is super important. Like, I was in another blab a couple days ago when, partnerships and entrepreneurship is really important. Like, if you can find somebody to barter with that they're good at something that you're not, and you're good at something that they're not, you guys can work out a deal where everybody wins. Or, sometimes you might need to spend a little money in order to free up your time, like hiring an assistant to come in a couple of days a week to deal with your paperwork. I can't stand contracts, so I let my sister deal with those things. I find joy in my work. Now, I will say this, I actually do have a 9 to 5 job, and I have a business and a ministry and children and nonprofits that I belong to, all of them require my time. But if you find joy in what it is that you do, it's a lot easier to prioritize. For instance, when I'm counseling someone, for me, giving to other people, assisting people, that fills my soul. That makes me feel really good. So that is my time. That is my personal time, in a way. When I'm doing makeup for a client, that makes me feel good because I enjoy being creative. So that for me, even though it's hard, it may be a long, hard day, it still it brings me joy to do that. So if you're in your entrepreneurship, if you are finding joy in the thing it is that you do, that helps. But make sure that, if you have a family in particular, you have to tell somebody, you may not have to say no to the contract, but you have to say no to the day that you go and make that meeting, or something like that, so that you can make sure that you do spend time with your family or for yourself, to just take a minute, step back, look at everything, maybe bring in some help. There are many ways to go about it, but just never deny yourself your own, whatever it is that brings you peace and calm and rest. Never deny yourself that.
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to prioritizing what's the most important. What can I take care? What is it that cannot go on without me? What can somebody else do? And what brings me the most joy?
Yeah.
So that's my advice to you, if it made sense.
Yeah,
No, that's that. Oh wow, that's great.
yeah,
That's
I like that
excellent.
too. And I think that's very important. Like, especially as a new entrepreneur, you're pretty much doing everything yourself. As you start to grow
Hmm.
and you start to have more income and more possibility of getting other people involved, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like trying to shift things off my plate. I don't have like a virtual assistant or anything like that at the moment. I have a couple of my kids do all my receipts and my input. I pay them to do that. I don't give them allowance. I pay them to like enter my documentation in my
See,
accounting system.
it's whatever works, man. Especially if you're on your own, you got to do what works, and everybody's involved, and that's absolutely helpful to them, because they're learning about what dad does in business and how to keep accounts and all that type of stuff. So you're winning right now.
It's just it doesn't feel like any kind of a balance. And I don't necessarily believe in balance. I'm a member of a networking group, BNI, and the business coach in my group is always pushing me about you need to have more balance in your life. And I think I don't believe in balance really. I think you're like when you first get married, your balance is out. You're spending a lot of time with your wife and really focusing on the relationship. When your kids are born, your life is out of balance because you're spending no free time and raising, taking care of diapers and baby children. And when you're a new entrepreneur and you're bringing in lots of contracts, you're out of balance because you're really trying to grow that business. You get very little sleep if you really are hustling. But I like your approach.
Right. I
You
mean,
focus on the things you're passionate about, the things that are bringing you value, the things that are giving life to other people. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
right. Because if you think about it, we are always creating. Everything we're always creating. Every day we're creating. As like I said, for me, I'm still kind of working at 9 to 5, trying to wean myself out of that, and do this part time with the clients that I do have. I'm trying to branch out or whatever, but um, my barometer or my GPS internal is joy. If I don't find joy in it, then I'm not doing it. And I don't mind passing on something that you may feel is beneficial, but I may not feel is beneficial to my own sanity and my personal growth. Okay, Because at the end, even with me right now, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm visiting my family in Pittsburgh. So I'm spending time with them or whatever. But I'm also having time for myself as far as my business. I'm constantly creating and constantly doing things that I need. But even as a coach, I still need my personal time. I really need my personal time. We may have a whole bunch of trust me, we constantly create. We may have a whole bunch of ideas to try to bring in income, but the barometer and the internal GPS, it has to find joy. That's why it's very important to use no in your business. No is very important in business because if you don't, you're going to run yourself dry to the point where you're going to start not liking what you're doing. And when that happens, then you lose all type of spirit within yourself. So you got to you know it's great in business. Time management is great in business, and finding what's wasting time is great in business. Those are you have to have rules. You have to set rules. Rules is perfect in business.
Saying
You
no
understand?
means you're saying yes to something else.
Or not now to something, to that thing. It
Or
could
not
be just
now.
not now. Like, put it this way, like I was talking earlier about my calendar. I sometimes I've actually had to write down, today I'm doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not taking calls, I'm not checking emails, from clients. I am just off the radar. I have a voicemail for a reason. I have an email for a reason. If I need to just unplug and separate myself so that I can focus on the things that I want to do for myself, then that's what I have to do. Right? I mean, if you it's sad sometimes, but if you have to schedule it, then schedule it. You put it in your calendar, Sunday from 4 to 8, that's family time and nobody is getting in that, you know what I'm saying? And you say, you know what, I'm booked. Can we meet a little later or a little earlier? You can still take care of the stuff that you need to take care of. You can still take clients, but you don't have to be on their time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? What I'm sorry, what is it that you do,
Me?
Brian?
Um, I, I
Yeah.
do internet marketing and consulting, web design.
You work on the internet?
Yeah, internet consulting, web design.
So you don't really have to go anywhere to do what you do. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I say that kind of jokingly, but really, you're already in your space
Right.
pretty much when you're working, right? You're home.
Yes.
You work from home. So if you need to get up from the computer and walk away, then do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You have to, I mean, like I said, if you block out a certain amount of time each day, if you work yourself 12 hours a day, you put in a couple of hours of time where that's just you walk away, you take a break, you hang with the kids, you work with them, that let them work with you. That's quality time, and you can block off that family time for and if you have clients that want to take calls, then just say, I'm booked. They don't need to know what it is that you're booked doing. Is you say, I'm booked right now, but can and just give them another time to do it. So that's
Right.
where the balance part comes in. Like I said, if you have to write it down on a calendar, write it down on the calendar to remind yourself, because we all get lost in our busyness sometimes. So that's not just,
Absolutely.
you have to prioritize yourself first. So we all want to make the money. We all have goals that we need to accomplish. We have kids that, need raising or whatever. But again, if you don't make and take time for your own self, then you're going to be no good to anybody else.
Right. Let me tell you, I'm gonna put it. My father,
I can get off. You want somebody else coming in?
my father never had a 9 to 5. Okay, he was always hustling, always had some type of side business, the side business, the side business, and we always seen him go out and leave and come back. He provided, but I never saw him. Okay, so and he definitely loved his family or whatever the case may be, but he ran himself so thin, and we saw that he didn't never took time for himself, but his focus was on what I gotta make this money here, I gotta make that money here, I gotta make this money here. So at the end of the day, he actually never saw his kids. The kids In the blink of an eye, we graduated. In the blink of an eye, we were out the house. In the blink of an eye, he never got a chance to actually have time for us. So, you got to make the time. And if you have a business, like uh, Danielle said, you have virtual assistants, or you may have children that be running around. But you see, you got to be able to grow your business. So they may be able to take some of that heat off of you, like Danielle said, and they could be able to do things for themselves, like kids. You're teaching them to be problem solvers. So some of them, they could do things on their own. They could solve their problem on their own, right? So you have to be able to find the time and where your time is being spent, and make sure that it doesn't run you ragged, because an entrepreneur is always thinking about how much income they can get in as quick as possible, right? But at the end of the day, what are you focusing on? What's your focus? What's your joy? What's your purpose?
So you're good?
Does that make sense?
Thanks so much, Brian. I hope that this has been helpful to you.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna clock out because my battery's about to die. You kind of
Okay.
apology.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So I'm gonna
Thank
kick
you.
it. Jamila,
can you guys hear me? Can see?
I can hear you. You went audio though.
Gosh, I'm struggling today, y'all.
Just relax, breathe. You're here. We are here. So time management is the topic. Can we get a time check, please, real quick?
6:54.
6:54.
6:54.
Do you want to close it? Go off the record?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you all, everyone, for joining us. I hope that the things that we have said have made sense to you. If you've come in late, please feel free to watch the replay. It'll be ready in about 10 minutes or so. And be sure to join us next week. Hopefully, we will be broadcasting from our official account, LYP Broadcast. I don't know what happened today, but follow us, all of us, me, Danielle, the VP, at Jamila Corbett, at Inner Soul Development, here on Blab, on Twitter, and on Periscope. We will be back next week, same Blab time, same Blab channel, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks so much.
Yes. Enjoy.